Hey everybody, welcome back to Leadership Unveiled. My name is Kayla Fahey-Ahrndt, and today is day 2 of the 12 days of leadership. Welcome back. If you haven't listened to day 1, that's okay. You can check it out on my YouTube channel. There's a playlist for the 12 days of leadership, or you can check it out on my website. I will have that linked in the description below or the show notes if you're listening on the podcast, so you can check it out. So everything that we talk about in these 12 days will be available afterwards so that you can go back and review your favorite topics, as well as if you miss a day, you can just go back and catch up. So don't worry about a thing. Today, I want to talk about a topic that I've sort of indirectly talked about it, but I've never called it this. And so let's just dive right on in. And before I get started, please don't forget to subscribe and like this channel if you haven't already. And please subscribe to the podcast wherever you listen so you know when the next episode drops. Okay, for real, let's dive in. So I have the book here, The Coaching Habit, Say Less, Ask More, and Change the Way You Lead Forever by Michael Bungay-Stanier. And I have talked about him before. I've talked about the questions he asked in this book. I think my first or second YouTube video ever 2 years ago that I posted was on how to basically say less and ask more, and how to use what questions to coach your people. But today's topic is more related to how do you lead when you feel like you don't have time to lead? And how do you coach your people when you feel like you don't have the time? And I don't want to call this lazy leading, but I kind of do, because I want leadership and coaching your people to feel really easy, like maybe not easy, but less pressure, right? So not high stakes, I have to know all the answers, but less pressure. And when I say coaching, I'm not saying that in a corrective action standpoint. I'm saying in a development standpoint, whether it's coaching them on how to solve a problem, or how to improve a pattern of behavior or something like that, or how to change or flip their mindset. So this is something that we talked about yesterday in the first of the 12 days of leadership. We talked about how you do have to be a coach and kind of help people throughout their journey to grow and develop and create that space if they want to take it. So this talk was kind of inspired by a recent experience I had. And so I have one-on-ones with all my direct reports, the people that report to me, usually about weekly for most people. And I tend to lump a lot of my one-on-one meetings all on the same day, just because then I'm in the one-on-one mode and I don't have to context switch all day long to different things. So the other day I had this full meeting day. It was just back to back to back. There were times where I was triple and quadruple booked. I had a huddle and a meeting and a one-on-one, and things kept getting added to my calendar. And I was just okay, my intention for the day is just to show up and be present as fully as I can, right? So I was doing pretty well. And I don't know if many people know this about me. Maybe you do if you've worked with me for a long time, but I like to eat all day long. So if I can, I will eat my lunch at 10 in the morning. So I'll have breakfast before I leave home. And then when I get to work, I'm I got to eat breakfast again. And then I'll eat breakfast or my lunch at 10 or 11. And then by 1 o'clock, I'm I need some more food. So my theory is that it's my brain that needs this food. So they say that your brain is 2% of your body weight or something like that, but it takes up 20% of your energy. And that makes total sense. Don't quote me on that. I don't know if that's true, but that is what I remember reading somewhere. And so I just feel on days, especially when they're just meetings and intense focus to give other people my attention, that I need to eat all the time, right? So I'm doing really well. I'm chugging along. It's 1 o'clock. I have my snack, whatever. And then I was going to say, what time was this meeting at? Yeah, I think it was a 1 o'clock meeting. So I had some food at noon. I ate a little bit right before, and it's 1 o'clock and I have this one-on-one. So the person is just kind of telling me all the things. Kayla, because I asked them, what's on your mind? What would you like to share today? What's most important? It's kind of that's how I like to start my one-on-ones. And the person's just sharing everything. They're just word vomiting everywhere, which is fine. And if you're a leader, like you've had this before happen to you, and you've probably done it to your leader as well, sometimes we just need to get it out. So they're just kind of going down the line. They're listing like, here's all the things that I've been working on. I have so much, it's too much. I haven't done this. I got added this. Oh, and this, and this, and this, and this. And they probably went on for like, I'm not even kidding you, like 5 or 10 minutes. And at this point, I'm like, I'm trying so hard. Like I'm needing food. And like, also if you know me, you know, I'm a morning person. So I get up pretty early, like 4 or 5 in the morning. So by like 1 o'clock, I'm like, and I'm pretty much like useless after 2 for like higher functions. So I do all of my like lazy things or like my less brain power things like after 2 o'clock, right? So I'm like getting to the end. And so I'm listening to this person and I'm taking notes. I've got everything scribbled down on my one-on-one sheet and like, okay, I'm capturing the things. And at the end, they're just like, what should I do? And y'all, I won't lie. I was just like, I don't know. Like, that sounds rough. But I didn't say that. I was just like, okay, let me process this a bit. So I stared at the information I had written down and then I said to the person, hey, I'll just be honest with you. I'm tired and my brain hasn't rested all day and I'm kind of at the end of my day. So I don't know what the solution is for you. So I'm just going to need to think on this a bit. But let's kind of like walk through this, okay? So they're like, all right. So I just start asking questions. And afterwards, it reminded me of this book, which is The Coaching Habit. So one skill that I've learned is when someone comes to you like that, there's often like, that's whatever they share in the moment, that's probably not the root cause of what's going on. There's probably a lot more to dig into, and you probably need more time to figure that out. So what I noticed in myself this last time is that I just started asking questions. Okay, tell me more about this. What could you tell me about this? Okay, if this is too much, like how would you organize it? How many people do you think we would need to accomplish this? Like, what's been the most important thing lately? Like, how are you structuring your day? I asked, like, how proactive are you being with your tasks? Like, how far in advance do you plan? Like, what's your standard work look like? So we went through this and I'm just listening, taking notes, listening, taking notes. And slowly my brain's like, okay, I'm kind of sorting this information into buckets for my own sort of learning and then just like so that I can go back to it later. And at the end, I was like, okay, I think we have next steps. You know, here's what I want you to do to kind of take immediate action to close this gap that we have. That was an idea that we kind of came to together. So I said, why don't you go do this? I'm like, I need to noodle on some of this stuff some more. And I might have more action items for you or more questions later, but I need to noodle on it. Sometimes I just need a night to process it. And then in the morning, I'm like, okay, I have more questions or I have a new way of thinking about this. And that's something that I learned from The Coaching Habit. Now, I didn't realize what I was doing. I was just kind of naturally like, well, I don't know the answers, which again, as leaders, we're not supposed to, or nor do we need to have them, right? I want this person to figure out a way to solve their problem on their own. But my default, instead of like offering solutions, was let's ask questions, right? So I didn't realize I was doing this. This is just a practice I've been working on for a while. And the person then said to me, oh, you're like pretty sharp for somebody who like had no brain power at the end of the day. And I'm like, I don't know why you would think that. And they're like, because you just guided me through this whole process of and now I feel really clear about like everything and realize like I'm actually okay. I'm just kind of spewing it. And so I think the more that we can let go of needing to provide active solutions or be like, oh, I know exactly what you should do, is just to get a little bit lazy about it and ask questions. So this book, I would highly recommend it. The Coaching Habit, Say Less and Ask More, Change the Way You Lead Forever. Michael Bungay-Stanier, he's been on various podcasts, and I don't know if he has his own, but I follow him on Instagram. He posts great infographics all about questions you can ask. Some of the best questions in here are simple. So he always likes to start coaching conversations out with what's on your mind. And that, he says, is a question to sort of like broaden your scope. So, for example, if you're like so focused on a project, like let's just use a silly example. Say you're focused on like buying a red car. Everywhere you look, right, your brain is looking for red cars. And now you see them and that's like all you see, right? Same thing when we get into our work, we sort of get tunneled. So he likes to ask, what's on your mind? Because it kind of opens up like, what is on my mind? Okay, and then you kind of start sharing this and it opens up for more conversation here and there. And then he also likes to ask, okay, what else? Oh, tell me more about that. What else can you share about that? What else is on your mind? Until it's like, there's nothing else. Honestly, if you are needing a lazy leadership day and you're really struggling what to ask and someone's spewing, say, okay, what else? What else can you tell me about that? And then you can also say, like, what's the real issue for you here? Or what's the real problem? Or what do you think the real problem is? And he talks about using what questions instead of why questions. So if you ever hear someone share like something and then instead of saying like, well, why would you do it like that? You can ask a what question, which is less confrontational, which sounds more like, well, what were you hoping to achieve when you tried it that way? So it's more an invitation to have the person self-reflect. So lazy leadership or coaching is just asking questions and asking what questions, or tell me more, or what else, or what were you hoping to achieve? What was the real issue for you here? And that's going to help you. It totally helps me when I'm literally like my brain is full and I'm like, I don't have any more creative ideas today. I really don't. I'm only here to be like in my body and like in front of you and giving you support. But I got nothing. So that's the trick that I always use when I'm having a tough day and I just resort to asking open-ended questions and the person provides the answers with feedback. And if they don't know, I could say, that's okay. Let's take some time to think about that and we can talk about it next time. And then you can move on, right? So that's my tip for today is definitely go check out the book, check out Michael as an author. I will post maybe on my community tab on YouTube or even in the blog post that I put where I link to the podcast episode on my website. I'll put links to the book, links to Michael's Instagram, and maybe pull out some of my favorite questions. I will also link the first video that I made on YouTube, or one of the first ones, using the what questions, so you guys can review that. It's so helpful. I use it in my one-on-ones every single day. Every single time I have a one-on-one, I use these. And this book also has approaches for, let's say you want to start coaching somebody, like offering better structure in the one-on-one and changing someone's behavior or a pattern of thinking, or helping somebody overcome like a difficult project. The book has like instructions for how to ease into it, because sometimes as leaders, we've been operating one way, talking with our folks one way, and then the next day we're like, so now I'm going to start using coaching questions with you. And they're like, who is this person? So I think you do kind of want to ease into it and just test it. Find your favorite what questions. Like I said, my favorite one is what's on your mind and what else can you share about that? So, all right, without further ado, that is day 2 of the 12 days of leadership. How to be a lazy leader, offer better coaching, especially when you have so much brain space that's just taken up by all the stimulation you get throughout the day. You can still be really, really effective, and probably even more effective by just asking questions instead of offering solutions. All right, everybody, don't forget to like, subscribe, whether you're listening to the podcast or on the YouTube channel. And let me know in the comments, like, what do you think about this? Have you used this technique before? Have you heard of Michael before? Are you going to grab the book? I hope you will. Let me know. All right, see you tomorrow for day 3. Bye.